Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game.
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
Artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
Okay, so real talk, we did try a new kind of microphone arrangement for this episode since we were in person, so the audio quality might not be what you're used to, but still a really good episode, and you should listen to it anyway, but don't at me in the comments because I know the audio quality might not be great. So just listen and have fun, or don't.
On today's podcast,
What are the topics again for this week, Travis?
Yeah, have you sent them out yet?
I'm gonna tell you right now which animal would become president of the world if all of the species got a vote.
Not my topics.
What is the best style of coffee mug? And lastly, we come up with punishments for social faux pas.
It was a delayed effect.
Benjamin Trimmer, what are we drinking?
Ooh, we're drinking something holiday spirited. We're doing little holiday margaritas with apparently Twizzlers as part of the garnish.
Damn straight.
Which seems to be working. Or are they red vines?
They're not red vines. They're not a red vine family.
Whistler household.
Apparently we do not do red vines in this household. And since we're all drinking this, I'm going to not ask anyone else what anyone else is drinking.
Exactly. That was the point of what are we drinking. But before we get into the topics,
What are the topics?
before we get
Have you
into
sent them out?
we have a guest.
A guest!
It's our annual tradition. Mom, Debbie Jennings is with us this evening.
Hi.
Amen. I think tonight's gonna get a little. What?
Wait, can we get into that a little bit? I think we can't just say...
Just the high?
Well, not necessarily the high, even though we all get high with Debbie.
What?
I feel like the anal tradition needs a little more explanation.
The what tradition?
That's actually pronounced analgesic. The pills go in your mouth. The annual tradition, going back to fireball shots with Debbie.
Yes.
Which we still have to end with.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay, we're not giving those up.
No, this is a long.
And speaking of shots,
I'm calling them right now. Call my shots. Good try, but not great. I would have said something to the effect of like, "We're gonna get wild tonight, probably a little crazy like animals. We're gonna get crazy like animals." And speaking of animals, our first topic: which animal would be president of the world if every animal got to vote? Who has thoughts?
Yeah, I got thoughts. Once we figure out our sliding mechanism, okay. give me 1 second. All right, boom.
We're MacGyver.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is this good? Does this work?
Yep,
All right.
Yep.
So I think
Terrible take.
All right, fair enough. Who's next? So anyways, so much like the electoral college, to where people can, or shall I say, the electorates from the electoral college don't necessarily have
so
to vote
bored.
the way they're supposed to. I think that's what you have to think about in this mass animal election. And so cutting to the chase on this one, I think ants are going to win the election because you have a single mind of the queen telling all the ants how to vote, therefore ensuring the same vote. And ants are the most most number of populous. That's the word.
Yeah,
Thank you.
populous.
That's why Debbie's here. That's why Debbie's here. The teacher, yes, on the planet. Thus, ants would win the election.
Well, so
But are they going to get? Is it going to be a popular vote, like individual votes, or because you said the electoral college? So does that mean there's just going to be designated number of?
Well, because ants are in every state, they would therefore win both
And
the
uncles.
popular and the electoral vote, as well as the world's election. And yeah,
Did we say world?
we said world.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, just
Now-
to cover all my bases.
You did say queen like mind there are several trillion different ant colonies with different queens. What makes you think they're all going to vote for the same?
And I
Ant.
thought bees do the same thing.
Bees have a very similar.
And quite
Lifestyle.
frankly, I just have to say, if we're going in that direction, do you know how bees make their decisions? Do you know how they talk to each other?
Pheromones.
No.
They
but that
dance.
would
I do
be-
not.
They do.
They dance.
They shake their,
They
they
dance.
wiggle, and they do a bee butt
It's on camera.
dance.
It's recorded.
It's a bee butt dance.
Bee butt dance. Answer, not a bad answer from.
Before you attack my vote, let's hear everybody else's
Yeah.
thing here. But
There's more of a question about the. Yeah. Anyway, other answers, thoughts
I went back and forth between
between.
elephants and chimpanzees.
Elephants and chimpanzees. Okay.
an elephant never forgets.
Both, they don't forget, and they're very they're family oriented, and they're problem solvers, and they're emotional.
Yeah.
They actually show critical thinking skills. I just don't know. Well, and there's several different kinds too, and they've got strength.
They do.
So, not that a whole thing of red ants couldn't make them crazy, but
I've seen that horror film from
But
the
yeah, me too.
90s, 80s.
But
70s.
they could stamp them out, I suppose, before. But I liked elephants because of their and chimps, of course, because I mean, next to humans, depending on what you want to define intelligence as, they can do so much of what we can do.
So it sounds like you took this as which animal would be the best if they were to vote and a species would become president. 'Cause
Well,
I think
assuming that
be-
the others realized that intelligence was important in the vote, which never mind.
Have you met a bird?
Yeah, there we
you met a
go.
fish?
There we go.
I know.
Real big. We know this.
Yeah.
I take it back. Forget it.
I like the answer as in I would probably vote for an elephant or a chimpanzee.
Especially that big African elephant.
Yeah. I think they would win? Probably not.
But they should.
Yeah. It's not about who should, it's which one will.
Okay.
My thought was which animal provides the most good for the most different types of animals? And the one that I could think of,
Not humans.
a human, yeah,
Not
the humans are out.
Since when does providing good have anything to do with an election?
This is true.
You're not wrong, but I was like trying to think of what would make one animal
That's
more
why I
popular
changed my
than the other.
intelligence thing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about worthy candidates, though. We're talking about who would win.
Right.
I understand that. And that's why I like ants. I like bees. I like those answers. But I'm trying to think.
Bees.
Bees?
You mean bees on the field?
The worst animal
In the trap.
in the world are mosquitoes. I think we can all agree on that.
Get out of here.
I don't want mosquitoes. Mosquitoes shouldn't win. They're the worst animal. The thing that eats the most mosquitoes are bats. And I think bats could win. There are lots of bats, and they can all vote for each other. They also very
Too much
good.
happens during the day.
They get shit done at night, and they're awake during the day too. They don't always sleep at night.
I mean, Batty was awake during the day.
I don't know what that is a reference to.
Ferngully.
Thank you. And they also are really good at pollination and dropping seeds via guano, and they're good at helping plant.
A lot of disease in guano, though.
Let's vote for shit, right? That's what I'm all about. So I'm just thinking of like which animal is going to do the most good, and I think getting rid of the mosquitoes should be our number one priority. So I'm going to vote for bats.
Let's get down to brass tacks here. If we're thinking popular vote, I hate to be the one who goes basic, because that's usually Rick's job.
He needs an ants.
It's got to be dogs.
Gotta be what?
Dogs?
Dogs. They've already got the human vote.
True.
They've already got the vote of cattle, sheep, anything that they can herd. They're stealing that vote. The only thing they have to fight against is cats, and they can take cats.
Here,
They're like bees, though.
I love dogs. I like the answer. I have one.
Then their face just gets puffy.
One big issue is dogs are very easily manipulative. Manipulable. How do you say that? Manipulated. Yeah, by humans and many, probably other species as well.
I feel like our current political structure leans towards dogs then.
Oh, this is gonna get great. No, this is a great idea.
Who has the most money, or who's the most food?
Yeah, exactly.
Squirrel.
All you gotta
Squirrels
do is
have all the food, every tree.
It's true.
All right, I like dogs. I like ants. I really like the ants. So for me, I keep going back to current how we look at things, and I keep going back to aggression. Like, we vote for aggressive people that their faces are out there. You know, different countries are going after aggressive leaders. And for me, if we're voting for somebody to rule the world, there's like an underlying meaning that we have to protect the world. Somebody who can protect the world from something else that might be out there. I want the most aggressive land animal possible, and that is the hippopotamus.
Hippo?
Hippopotamus can crush vehicles, boats, maybe alien spaceships with their jaw. No, but they're fast. Maybe not. I don't know who's
I think
fast.
they are probably equally as fast.
Equally as fast.
We'll say that.
But elephants have a little tiny mouth. They can't crush shit. But I would put a hippo's jaw as a line of protection, and they're just as fast. And we're losing. Not to go political, even though we're talking about politics here. Not to go political, but we're losing the ozone layer, and hippos secrete their own sunscreen.
Oh, I thought he was going to say.
They secrete their own sunscreen from nothing.
Mudang 2028.
So I just need to jump in real quick, because we keep talking. I assume people when we make these references.
Every animal gets a vote.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
People quickly become the minority.
Yes.
In this new voting structure, and so you say what we typically vote for. You don't know what a cat's voting for.
Sure.
You don't know what a lizard's voting for.
Let's be honest.
That's true. They're not. Cats aren't voting. Can we all agree with something before the night is over? That cats are the libertarian Ron Paul supporters of the animal kingdom. Can we at least agree with that before we walk away?
Green Party.
I don't know if I don't disagree with that, but it's all out. No one went the water route. They're more fish.
They can't make the polling booth.
I thought of
Hippos can go in the water.
That's what I
Hippos
thought.
can live in the water.
I thought dolphins too, but again,
And
how are they
hippos
going
are
to
born in
I
the
almost
water.
went octopus.
Octopus or orcas because they're just giant bullies, and they're wicked smart.
Hippos
And
are
they wear-
born knowing how to swim.
They wear fish's hats.
But there's not enough of orcas to do that. Like, yeah, they're bullies, but when you think about it at a global scale, there's
That's why I didn't.
there's
pick
not
them.
enough.
They've
And then
lost the seal vote.
and then Japan is out. Japan's out to get them. So like they're
Which is why, like, in the same vein as ants, the most populous quote animal is zooplankton, and quadrillion.
Single cell organ.
not according to the Google page I found
Yeah,
earlier.
the Google search I did says that zooplankton is an animal, and they're in the quadrillions of organisms. So I don't know which one of these makes the most sense. I do agree, Rick, that
How long do they live though? Because they might not even qualify to be president.
zooplankton, yeah, they're not 35.
That was
That's
my other
interesting.
vote for elephant was because they live so long, which
But do we want a regime that lasts as long as an elephant?
depends on whether it's a good one or
So
not.
I'll say this. I'll say in terms of worthy, yes, I would agree with elephants, but also, I mean, there's already a set up political structure in the documentary The Lion King.
Yes.
And lions are obviously.
Kings, not presidents.
You're right.
They're not
Touche.
elected.
You're right, touche.
They're not
I'm not even
elected.
trying to take it down that road anyways, but all that to say, worthy, sure, but we're talking about winning, and ants are highly organized, and they got the numbers. So I'm bringing it back to that.
I like that answer too. If the numbers don't matter, if they just have a designated number of delegates,
Sure.
then it really wouldn't matter. And I don't know, I could
That's
just see
kind of a
that
gray
elephant
area.
walking over to an ant pile and going like that, and they're gone.
That's only 3,000 votes, though. There's still another trillion plus ants that could vote for ants.
And how many feet does one elephant have, and how many elephants are there that
Well,
could-
but
can't get all
I
of
think
them
we can say
underground.
elephants are restricted in terms of location, where ants are more.
Location.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, but if they're in my kitchen, then they get sprayed and they all die.
I mean, I get it.
That's genocide, Debbie.
Yes, it is.
I was in my driveway with my basketball,
So the
and I
elephant
killed
can come
a
after
lot of
me.
ants, but
Still really like ants. My thing about ants though is if you elect an ant, what are they going to do for you except ant stuff? Like maybe an elephant
No, the question-
maybe an elephant
right.
can move people, so you have a bigger ant lore or land. You know, maybe make some space for more ants.
But like you said, the problem
Yeah, I
was
didn't-
not who would make the best,
Right.
but who would win.
I never said they'd be a good
So
president.
but
I
that
just said
is
they
all
would have the
based on.
numbers.
So then you're just saying everything is just based on numbers for winning,
that's the way I'm taking
and
this
not
argument. Yes.
about anything about what they could or would
100%,
do.
because most of the animal kingdom's mind is not as developed as the chimp or the elephant, and therefore they don't think in that level, and so it is
Ants are just
strictly
going to vote for ants because they're ants.
right, and because they have a queen telling them to vote for ants. Versus,
Is the queen smart enough to?
I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe not, but until you disprove me, I'm using the argument.
But the bee queen is.
The bee queen, but there's not a snake queen.
'Cause she
There's not a
dances.
dog queen.
What if there was a snake?
That's right.
I would burn this whole world down if there was a snake queen.
I'd be right behind you.
Like, it's
I
a
almost
wrap.
went snakes just for Rick.
I do too.
All right, let's rule one out. We got dogs, bats, ants, elephants, and hippos.
I'm gonna say hippos are not winning the election. As much as they may be a good person, my vote is. I almost want bats, but just from a numbers perspective, which is where I'm taking this, I think, especially in the community that hippos are in, I don't know if they're viewed in that light.
Hey, there's a couple in South America.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that they're only in Africa or South America, but just in the ecosystem.
I'm fine with hippos not winning. My definitely focused more on protecting us from aliens. That might have been a little bit out there, but that's okay.
No, I like the idea. Hippos is now off the list. So Ben,
No, but I have a new idea for a book.
yes,
Children's book?
No.
call dibs quick.
Trademark? Trademark. I just sent it to myself in an email.
Ben, if hippos is out,
So, as much as I like the answer, because I do think that they're smart, I'm just way too stuck on this, too easily manipulated, and I can't do dogs. I'm sorry. I can't
there's
vote
a
for
dog
them.
under this table right now.
Doing nothing, laying there and doing nothing.
And they sleep 18 hours a day when they're happy.
Yeah.
That's the problem. A happy dog is a
Just like
sleeping dog.
Congress.
No, someone was going
Wait
to
a
say
minute.
it.
That's an interesting thought.
I'm glad you did. All right, we got one vote.
I'm just sorry I didn't buy more Twizzlers.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on board with the anti-dog vote because I think
Okay.
I think that's
fine.
I think that's a good
I
point.
saw it coming.
Getting them out to the polls would be the struggle there.
Literally plastic bag and they're gone. Just throw a ball. They all.
We got all right. So we got bats, ants, and elephants.
I will jump ship for ants.
I'm going to go ants, too. I liked it from the beginning. There's,
I like that
about it.
holes in it, but
I like both.
it makes a lot of sense.
If we're talking just individual votes cast, they've got it.
Personally, I'm voting for the elephant, but I will go with the ant for the rest of you. But
heard it
when
here
that
first,
vote
everyone.
happens, I'm
Debbie
voting
Jennings is a Republican.
specifically. Hey, you like that?
Voting for the elephant.
But even even if it's specifically the African elephant, the giant African elephant, does that change?
come up with a good reason earlier, and it was a funny.
Mom, pop quiz. Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize?
I don't know.
First woman to win a Nobel Prize.
Madam
That is correct.
Thank you.
Why do you know that?
I don't
I
know.
watched a lot of Big Bang Theory.
Madam. I don't know if she was Madam, but it was Marie.
Marie Curie.
I'll give you. I don't know if Madam was right, but it's Marie Curie. So.
Madam Marie Curie.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Let me give Debbie a point here in our spreadsheet. I mean, Ben.
Wait.
or not Ben.
Wait, so how's the margarita with the Twizzler? I need a
Twizzler's
Debbie
better.
review.
Cold.
The
Makes
Twizzler
it
is-
cold. A little chewier.
And the Twizzler is definitely better.
Well, obs. Okay.
Do you think the shape of the glass has anything to do?
I hate
with...
you. I absolutely hate you.
I don't even know what the topic.
No.
What's the topic? I don't even have a clue.
Travis, you never sent us the topic.
Hey, real quick. You listening? Cool. Do me a favor. On your app, wherever you're listening to this podcast, there's a button to follow or subscribe or some sort of a notification type bell. Whatever you do, don't click them. Don't click those buttons. Don't do it. Or click it. Whatever it doesn't matter. Just fine. It's fine. Just click it. It's cool. Just do whatever you want. Preach.
All right, our next topic this evening is the best style of coffee mug. I think this is going to be the one that's hyper controversial.
Debbie is chomping at the
Debbie is ready to
Debbie
say
is
something.
ready. Go ahead, Debbie. Start us off and let us know how wrong you are.
Because
Wrong.
my first question when you gave me this was, does a tumbler count as a mug? And you said, that's the question.
That's the question.
So I had to look up the definition of a mug.
No. This body determines the definition.
But
of a mug.
I'm just telling you what the official definition. We can change
I'm
it.
sorry. What? This is the definition.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Have you even listened to the
I'm
podcast?
going to tell you what the internet definition
Okay,
is.
thank
Is that better?
Thank you. You know we're on the internet.
I do know.
named Webster.
That him too. It says it's a large cup, and I quote, typically cylindrical, typically with a handle,
Yep.
used without a saucer.
Okay.
It says they usually have handles and hold at least 12 ounces of liquid.
I don't like this already.
And so every definition says typically a handle, usually for hot drinks,
And that's why this
usually
podcast
a lid.
was formed, because there's too much gray area.
I'm very mad.
And we have to actually define this. So we're going to start. What is a coffee mug?
Why can't it be anything that holds coffee? Oh, look at
I don't love that definition
I have opinions, but
because that means plastic is on the table.
That also means I could just drink straight out of the coffee pot.
And is that a mug?
you don't.
It's too hot.
So if I pour
milk in.
coffee into a bowl, is that officially a coffee mug?
Right?
But by definition, it's cylindrical and it holds.
I wasn't listening to Debbie when she was giving us the definition.
wasn't either.
But a bowl.
I'm gonna throw out. Go ahead.
Last
I'm
35
just saying,
years
if
of
you're
my life
talking
with
about a
my
round,
I'm gonna throw out an important piece of definition of a mug to me, and that is the handle. Now, obviously, there are some tumblers or tumbler-like
Right.
substances that have handles. And I would need to further develop my definition to get that atrocities out of here. But originally, I think where we need to start is with the handle. And before we even go down any other definition, the only acceptable style of best mug needs to have it where I can comfortably fit.
So you're just jumping into best style.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
even defining anything.
no, I'm
Okay.
It's part of the definition.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. Because to me, you're not even a real mug if I can't honestly, I prefer all 4 of my fingers to get in there.
4 fingers.
I don't necessarily hold it with all 4 fingers, but I want the space for all 4 of my fingers to get in there. Drew, I think
So
I
a
agree
tumbler with a handle is okay.
no.
Oh, you said the
You know,
handle.
you're right. I did. Right now, it is okay. When we get further down this road, I'm going to eliminate tumblers completely. But I think my favorite mug at home, and I'll get into the rest of the favorite qualities later, is the handle specifically. And if it's a bad handle, you're out.
What's a good handle?
Well, so again, for me, I want to be able to fit 4 fingers in. Right, so that one. So I like this mug, and I'm not going to describe it at all because this is my boycott to the listeners that you can't see what we're looking at. Yep. But so this is a good handle to me. I have the option for 4 fingers in it. I could do 3 if I prefer. It's not uncomfortable, but I am very much a 4-finger person. There's other aspects of this mug that I don't personally love.
Sure.
For my,
We're just starting with the handle.
yeah, but this is a good handle. Of all the mugs on the table, I don't even need to hold them. This is my handle.
So I'm going to describe it a little bit. It's a
No. So this is technically a 4-finger, but it's a little cramped for me. So like I can get 4 fingers in, but this pinky is a little uncomfortable.
That's what she said.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
I had to get in there.
The first one you
Took
picked
that
up
long.
is
Because look, this is a big.
symmetrical. That's the one. It's a symmetrical handle. It's a even handle. There's no odd shapes to the first one. Yeah. The second one you picked up, you can fit 4 fingers in, but it's an odd, obtuse shape.
Yeah, it's a little more like half a heart.
Yes.
On the handle versus a C. Like I like a nice C, D shape kind of handle, if you will. The letters C and D.
Like double D's?
Yeah, well, obviously huge tracts of land and wide open spaces. But
So no, interestingly, and this is not to do with the definition because I still don't agree, but for me, because my hands and fingers are so much smaller than yours, that's cumbersome to me. That's too big for my fingers to go in.
and so I think that's a fair point. I don't think the shape is necessarily the important aspect, and so I guess this is where I'm going to pull a bin a little bit and ride the fence, but I'm not intending to take it this way. I think overall, to me, so for as you were saying, like your fingers are smaller, I think that can adjust maybe the size of the handle, but in my mind,
You're going with a C is the best shape. Of
right,
the
and
handle.
you have to be able to get 4 fingers because there are mugs out there to where even Debbie wouldn't be able to get 4 fingers into the handle. Right. And so I think that is important.
And just to give everyone the play-by-play a little bit, Drew has spent the last 3 to 5 minutes just trying out all of the 12 different coffee mugs and seeing which one he likes best. He's not contributing in any way to this conversation yet. And he's
I know
just
which one I
picking-
like.
Yeah.
I just had to my confirmation bias.
Yeah, but like some research. The best thing
This is
like,
market research.
he'll like pick one up. He'll look at my mom and be like, "Oh, this is pretty good." He'll put it down. Like, "Oh, I like this one." This one.
Did you see the one where I looked at it and was like, absolutely,
Yeah, absolutely
it's a
not.
poison to me. I'm gonna jump in there then. I agree with you, Rick, that handle is probably the most important aspect of this. We're not too far off. For me personally, the 3 fingers in with the pinky underneath for support. And the thumb on top. So what we're really talking about is the ear looking handle, where it's a little straight, half heart, if you will. But yeah, 3 fingers in.
I like ear better now that you've said it.
The pinky underneath for the support so it doesn't like slip, because this just feels, with 4 fingers in, it's a little too
I got you.
unwieldy for me. And then you have the thumb up there on top to really give you the aspect that you're looking for.
That's a great sound. I love that. Actually.
Yeah, I bet you really
Actually
enjoy
sounds really cool.
it. Yeah. Also known as the kitchen speaker. So yeah, I think as far as handles go, I'm for as long as you can get 3 fingers in there comfortably.
Yeah, 'cause
4, I'm not opposed to, because you can still do 3 with it.
But if that's what you're going for, that size is definitely going to throw it off a little
4
bit.
just to me, especially with something like this, is just a little too much.
No, I got you.
I'm sitting here with this one, and my small fingers, I can only fit two in here, and I would not like this.
No,
either.
right, exactly.
I got a 3.
That one
I have to
angers
have
me
it.
on a lot of different levels. Not just the size, but the bottom. The bottom is the size of like a quarter.
I agree.
Like that's
made for a
big-
saucer. That's
a
actually,
big issue.
according to
for
the
me.
internet definition, that's not a mug because it requires a
It
saucer.
does not.
And that's a big issue for me.
Doesn't
A
come
lot
with
of
a saucer,
mugs.
nor does it require a saucer.
It requires a
I don't
saucer.
like the rounded bottom. It's
Let's
dangerous.
stick on the handle. Hold on. What are your opinions on handles?
3 fingers, 4 fingers minimum. I don't care. As long as it's not some stupid, goofy, artistic handle that's got weird, pointy things sticking out of roses or some crap like
Okay.
that.
So,
At minimum 3 fingers for a large man.
and you don't care about the ear versus normal C shape.
No, they're both fine as long
Okay.
as you can get 3 large man fingers into it.
Well, any 3 fingers, because my 3.
Well, but yours are going to fit if a large man's 3 fingers will
Yeah,
fit.
but not well.
No,
She's
it's
got to
actually
do this.
too big.
Yeah, she's got to do this, which isn't okay.
Then I'd have to put 4, and I don't like 4.
Yeah, I need more lube.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be difficult for me to get the. Yeah.
It's in our order history.
I think the actual size doesn't necessarily matter. It's the
Proportionate to your
proportionate
hand.
to your hand. She's going to need a slightly smaller handle than the rest of us. So I think.
But
like
I
a-
want my 3 fingers.
Right. I think a minimum of 3 makes sense.
Proportionate to each person's hand. So if I've got a 3-year-old drinking
he sitting
coffee out of a
there
mug
texting Caroline
and they got a little
this whole
tiny
time?
hand, then I can't
okay.
ever use that mug
I
because
could
it'll
put
drive
it
me
on
crazy.
there. Never mind.
Is it Rick, you're the only one that I think has a preference over for the C, but I think if you had a 3-finger heart, you'd be okay.
Yeah, again, the shape is not. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not so much the shape, it's the.
So I'm going to say handle is a minimum of 3 fingers.
Yeah, proportionate. To
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
can tell
just
you
think-
something else I
Go ahead.
hate. I don't know what to call this.
Lip. We're going to get to the lip. I think we'll get to that next. Why don't you like the lip?
It's too intimate.
More of a tongue person?
Well, no. So I'll say this, and I don't love lips either. I very much want a.
False.
Oh, yeah. It's good. Real good.
I am
real fast.
already bad at drinking coffee.
Bad at drinking coffee.
I'm gonna.
Yes,
I'm gonna spill it.
Yes,
No
I
matter
gotcha.
what. And so because of that, the lip adds an extra dynamic of like I have to make sure like I put my lip where it's supposed to go. I have the coffee mug
Bless you.
where it's supposed to go. And when I'm, except for if it's 3:00 in the afternoon, if it's my morning coffee, I am a total zombie in the morning. And so I guess what I should have started with, I am describing my perfect morning coffee mug when I am doing this. Because my afternoon coffee mug has a different function than my morning coffee. My morning coffee, I'm a zombie. I'm dead to the world. I don't want anyone talking to me. I need to wake up. And because of that, I want the path of least resistance and maximum comfort to my mouth.
And that's different how in the afternoon?
The afternoon, I'm alive and functional. I don't
got time to
necessarily
savor.
care about that, and I have extra brain power to therefore
Get your
possibly
lips on the
manipulate,
lip.
yes,
Okay.
a complicated coffee situation where I'm just trying to get an extra dash to the finish line at work versus becoming alive again. And so because of that, I very much want a non-lipped, straight up.
Now,
Coffee
interestingly, you said something way back in the beginning, and I'm talking about the extra zip in your afternoon. How does an espresso mug fit into your 3-finger?
I'm an American. I don't drink espresso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Espresso is just a fancy word for shot.
Rick, if you could make your perfect coffee mug for the morning, would you use something like a spout so it could go directly?
No, spouts are different.
It would
Rick,
be
he's
more of
trying
an
to- he's trying to-
IV
He's
to
trying
where
to trick you.
Yes.
He's trying to trick you into tumblers.
No, I'm not. No. This is just a
More like a gravy boat.
gravy boat and or a measuring cup where you just do this. So it's
No,
it's path of least resistance.
It's not, though. It's more
It
difficult.
is the path of least resistance, technically, but also there's that
You have to think about it.
there's that
Yeah.
extra
Yeah,
weird
I get
dimension
it.
of the lip and dip where I have to be like, okay, where does my mouth angle happen Whereas it's a straight, just kind of a basketball curve rim kind of situation where I just got to put my mouth over it and somehow coffee's going to fall into my mouth.
No, I understand. No, I was curious about the path of least resistance, and I just wanted to ask about that. I'm not saying that was better.
No, I appreciate it, but yeah.
I'm definitely I think the theme here is no lip. We going no lip.
Yeah, no, I think nobody wants any lip.
No one wants no lip
ever.
Oh,
Drew wants a lip.
Drew's got
Get
a
in
lip.
there, Drew.
I'm a lip guy.
Lip it up, baby.
Yeah,
Lip guy.
I like a
big Kardashian fan.
Yeah. Not only for that reason.
This has been my favorite topic
Brilliant
we've done in a long time.
Yep.
Brilliant business people. Yeah, I not necessarily this one that we have in front of us, but something like my favorite coffee mug ever that I have looks like this one. And I'm on Rick's team that I'm not going to really describe to you guys. But at the top, there's a lip that's a little bit thicker and just kind of comes out just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And I think that helps with coffee delivery to kind of guide it into your mouth a little bit more. Similar to that, yes. So, like your classic campfire mug. Yep, almost exactly like that.
More of a bevel.
So the mug that Drew is holding is actually very popular for coffee cocktails, which doesn't surprise me.
I love the style.
So I don't mind the lip or not the lip for me.
Gravy boat.
So Debbie just brought out a small gravy boat. For me, it's not the lip or not the lip. I just want the top part, the actual lip of it thick. Whether it's got a little extra added to it or whether it's just a really thick ceramic mug, I want it thick.
I like those CSLs.
The thin, and to Rick's point earlier, the thin part is where I have my drinking problem and I spill. When it's a very thin lip, whether it's got an overhang or not, that's when I start spilling. And I do have a drinking problem when it comes to coffee in the morning because my brain only works like
I don't like
0.25%.
I just brought this out because I was going to show whoever was arguing it that having this spout thing, if this is not a mug, but if it were, that actually does not make it easier.
No,
it
if you
makes
pour
it
out the side, it makes it easier.
This makes this pour easier.
It does.
Yeah.
I agree, but people would because that's what it's there for to drink, and that would be.
Is that for creamer?
I'm going to go
Yes.
with creamer. Yeah.
Yes,
Creamer?
But either way, I mean, and if there were that kind of a lip on a coffee mug, that would not make it easier to drink. No, just saying.
I think I think it's 3-2 no lip.
It's 2-2. Lip doesn't matter as long as it's thick.
That's more of the
Like this lip is
like,
absolutely no to me.
Right. This is no lip.
If it's a visible lip,
This is too much.
Right.
I think the one that we're talking about.
That's a middle lip. 0 lip, full lip, middle lip.
I think that's more of
What
just
species has a middle
what
lip?
do you say this one? This is like absolute.
That's no lip.
Yeah, that's no lip.
Okay.
Because it's not necessarily about like the
shape.
the,
We'll get there.
the shape, the dispersion of the top, but it's talking about is it a basketball rim or is it not? And to me, that's basketball rim material where it's straight up and over.
This is my favorite mug. This is.
I understand why it's the wrong pick, and we'll get there on why.
It
but
is my favorite mug.
that's
therefore,
fine. I mean, everyone's entitled to be wrong, but
Therefore, it is the best.
I think for right now,
Mug.
I'm gonna say
no. I think
no lip.
I think no lip was a fair.
Right.
No one's upset with no lip,
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
but there are people upset with lip.
Lip doesn't decide me. It's not the deciding factor.
Right. It's not you're not going to win me. You will lose me, to Ben's point. But
Drew, pop quiz. What was the first product to have a barcode?
Ooh.
Barcode.
Can we have a hint?
Books.
Wrigley's gum.
I would have never in a million years.
No, me.
So that means I'm at 1 point?
Why?
You're still at 1 point.
Yes.
So the next thing we can talk about in this coffee mug conundrum
is the material. We've got our
Ceramic. We're done.
classic ceramic, glass, stainless steel,
If you say glass,
classic china,
I'm gonna be
or
so mad.
stoneware.
I agree with the ceramic, but I'll tell you what, in back in the day, it was always glass.
Tuesday.
See, the problem with glass is it disperses heat so
Oh, I
quickly.
agree.
It's you got a better chance of burning yourself.
I totally agree, especially since most of the glass ones don't have handles.
No, yeah, very much ceramic.
Ceramic.
Yeah.
Ceramic. Okay, that was easy.
I would put
And not metal.
I have multiple stoneware ones that
yes,
I like.
honorable mention for stoneware. I think that's
I'm
fine.
okay with that.
But yeah, overall,
I'm surprised about the hate towards metal.
Hate towards metal.
I mean, I
it cools down so fast.
And it changes the flavor.
no, yeah. I'm not trying to argue for metal. I was just surprised
24
by the
hours.
strong opinions towards it. That's all.
24 hours.
I meant more like the
It
campfire
affects
cup.
the mouthfeel
That's like
for me.
tin,
Okay.
like the
I
tin
just-
metal
I-
cup.
Yeah,
it
specifically the
changes-
material.
Changes what I'm drinking. I don't know why. It just does. Yeah.
Why we don't like it?
Yes, but that has added benefits
Right.
because it's double walled and it's insulating.
Oh, no, okay.
Size.
Minimum 14 ounces because there's no
14
such thing
ounces.
as a cup of coffee that's not at least 12 ounces full, and then you got to leave room for at least a little creamer or something, sugar, whatever you want to add to it. So for me, a good coffee mug, I'm not saying all of them, but a good coffee mug has to have at least 14 ounces worth of space.
I'd say 12, but I wouldn't go under 12.
I actually have no opinion on this one.
So you're okay with a minimum 3-finger, no lip ceramic, 2-ounce mug?
Like
Assume-
this? Look at this.
I would like to see that.
Well, I mean,
This is not
it's
enough
all
coffee
hand-
for you.
I mean, like if you're gonna make I'll throw an opinion out there. I'm gonna say 12 ounces is the minimum, but
So you do like espresso cups?
I've also never. Hold on, let me work through this thought because I guess in my mind I've never.
Well, you think you want me to?
Yeah. Go,
Okay,
go,
I'm
go.
similar to Rick. I don't have
You're really not anything like that.
much
You know that.
of the opinion, but I don't mind small. Like I think 12 is about right minimum because I can always. The thing is, I want it to be at the correct temperature.
Right.
Yes.
Larger than 12, anywhere around like the 16 to 20, it gets cold too fast.
Unless I
Smaller
win.
than that, I have to go.
Unless it's, yeah.
I have to go. I'm not acknowledging its existence. Smaller than that, like 8 ounces, I have to go back to the pot
Sure.
too many times. So I think anywhere, I think I'm kind of in Ben's camp, like 12 to 14
Well,
is
that
my.
was.
Whoa!
I'm glad
Correct
we're on the
range.
same camp there.
Party foul.
But again, that was my minimum, and I may be an outlier here, but I don't let my coffee get cold. So my typical cup of coffee in the morning is 18 ounces. I do a 12 and a 6 in the same cup, and in 10 minutes it's gone.
If that.
And then a lot of times I'll make a second cup of 12 ounces plus cream, and that's kind of my 20 to 30 minute while I'm getting ready cup. And then I leave for work.
You have
2.5 cups of coffee a day. Yeah, don't
30
judge.
ounces of
I'm
coffee
not-
before leaving home?
I drink 11 cups of coffee every morning, and I'm talking like I'm sorry, it's 10 now because it makes it easier. Like I fill my coffee pot to 10, and I finish that before I leave for work.
That's not 10 cups of coffee.
No, I'm again fluid measurement. coffee.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not talking about number of times I refill my mug.
10 ounces of coffee?
Whatever my
yeah,
capper
10
says 10 on the side, I don't know whatever that is.
Those are 10
10 cups,
little
so
cups of
80
coffee.
ounces.
Those are
Yeah,
10
that.
teacups of coffee.
Sure, fine.
Yeah.
That. I have that before I leave for work every morning. And then I have more at work.
That makes
That
me
is-
anxious.
That
Me
is,
too.
that is my pre.
Had the cleanest colon ever.
That is my pre-work.
Is your
It's
pee...
straight black walls. Like
Wait, is your pee just strictly yellow all the time?
it's like asparagus pee.
So
constant.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised I'm alive because I
Me
have
too.
I have that. I have my 2 Coke Zeros throughout the day, and then I have my Long Islands when I get home, and then I repeat. So
I thought my 30
Sounds like a healthy diet to me.
Yeah. I mean, 30 ounces in the morning, and then
No,
usually
I said
have
a day.
Well, no, I'm 30 ounces in the morning, and then I usually have a 12 ounce at work, so that's 42.
Yeah.
I legitimately on Reddit yesterday there was a study that people who drink 6.5 or more cups of coffee a day actually live longer and have better mental acuity into old age than people who drink 1 or less.
Well, yeah, that just makes sense to me because can you measure yourself how you function before and after coffee? Like obs.
I get real anxious.
I
after
guess
my
some of us don't
coffee
drink
just
coffee
water
anymore
with
because
flavor?
of their anxiety.
Tell me I'm wrong.
what?
Isn't coffee just water with some flavor in it? Tell me I'm
And a
wrong.
With a
shitload of
lot
caffeine.
of caffeine.
Yeah, well, caffeine's fine.
No, it's a drug.
Yeah, drugs are fine.
Drugs are good.
Okay.
Drugs are fine. I think to go back to amount, I think 12 ounces is 12 to 14. I think is probably a good range.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd even go up to 16 for like the 12 to 16 because those are like
Yeah,
So like minimum 12.
Yeah, 16's fine.
Yeah, but like I don't like the 20 ounce mugs because again, like Drew said, I'm not gonna have 20 ounces at one time. I'm gonna have 10, and it's gonna disperse heat, and it's gonna get cold very quickly.
Here's my issue about minimum 12, and it's not doesn't have anything to do with me and my personal issues with how much caffeine I need. Most coffee pots have a setting for a single 12-ounce cup, and then I would say the majority, not everybody, but the majority of people add creamer or something to their coffee. So if you've got 12 ounces in your cup, you've got no room to add anything.
No, but
So
a
your
12
mug
ounce
has to be over 12 ounces large.
No, because a 12-ounce cup allows for that. I mean, it doesn't. When you get 12-ounce cup, it's not. If it says it holds 12 ounces, it doesn't mean it's going to fill it to the very top.
Yeah, I bet
It
you that's
allows for that.
16.
Well, then
It might be
then
14.
it's 14 or 16. That's the
That's 12
just
up to the
because
very
that's what's
top.
on the sticker doesn't
But
mean that's
this
not
is
what we're talking
12 up
about.
to there.
I want a 14-ounce amount of space in my
So
cup.
you're saying volume, she's saying sticker.
She's saying sticker. I want volume 14 ounce so that I can add stuff to my 12-ounce cup.
I don't know what that's like, so I don't know.
So I think being the only other creamer drinker at the table.
Cream in my coffee.
Okay, well.
I do too.
Oh well, yeah. Get wrecked, Travis. Life's too short for black coffee. So that's what we'll say here.
I don't abhor cream.
Yeah,
I
don't-
like black
I
espresso.
I appreciate Ben's
I like
point,
coffee like
but
my man.
European.
but to me here, this is why I personally don't really care
caffeine.
about size. Like, if I want a comfortable hold and comfortable experience with in my mug. So I don't necessarily, and if that's part of it, so like I put a like I like having coffee with my creamer, but again, like I don't necessarily mind going back and refilling my mug.
Well, a lot of the size has to do with Ben says he downs it right away, and I generally have 1 to 2 cups max, and I savor my coffee. So it takes me longer to drink it. So if I have more than 12 ounces, it's going to get cold.
No, I get that.
So how you drink it makes a difference in how much you need at that.
No,
cupful.
Violent agreement, but I think the range is. I think we get
We'll
all
say
of
12 to 16.
I think that's
is
an
a good
acceptable range.
Because everyone
to
in here
everyone
can find a mug that's 12 to 16.
Yeah.
Can I argue 12 to 18?
I don't like the 18 just because it's
my
gonna,
favorite
again,
mug is a 20-ounce mug. I'm just saying it's a Marvel mug. It's phenomenal. Because I can put my 18 ounces of coffee in it and add creamer, and it's all in one cup. It's my first cup every morning. All right.
It's got to be a multiple of 4. Sorry.
And I'm out.
That's right.
Yeah, multiples of 4 for sure. 12 to 16. Let's see here. Other things I have
Was my question. My question was, if you have a tumbler and it has a handle, why is
so
it
a
not a
giant
mug?
Stanley.
Why is it not a mug? I'm asking.
We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
No, we can broach that now. That's fine. Because
We're getting
my
there.
next one was like, what type of
Well, I think the ceramic part ruled the tumbler out to me.
for best?
Is
We're not-
to originally answer that point. I think that the
Tumbler's not a mug.
the composite. No, well, yes,
What if
but
I
That's
have
a different question, is what Rick is positing.
no, but if I think because we said it had to be
Yeah.
ceramic for the best mug style, is why we're
What
ruling
if
that
what
out.
if the tumbler
I have additional
Rick Duck.
I have additional reasons for ruling it out, but
what if the inside of the tumbler is ceramic and the outside is metal?
then I'm back on board. But there's other. I have other. Hold on. Again, fine.
I didn't say that existed.
To me,
To me,
another part of it is the lid.
the lid.
A mug.
The lid.
A mug can't
The
have a
lid?
lid.
The lid. SpongeBob reference. The lid. The lid.
Debbie is looking for a ceramic metal mug as we speak.
She probably has one.
Well, so yeah. So I think the lid.
I thought it was ceramic, but it's
Yeah, I think the lid aspect makes it not a mug.
my definition said
It's a coffee vessel.
usually has a lid.
Your definition.
It's a drink. That is a
My
drink
definition
vessel.
didn't say that.
Liquid vessel.
Like, don't get me wrong. I will tumbler it up.
I like a lot of the definition Debbie gave, but the lid gives me an issue.
It looks ceramic.
It changes the type of cup. It's no longer a mug with the lid. It's a tumbler or it's a Yeti or I don't know what, but it's not a mug.
I think I'm also going to add.
We're gonna say no lid.
Yeah, mug doesn't have a lid.
No lid.
And I think it adds to the. I think what I heard you say, like the intents of the vessel, because to me the tumbler becomes. I need more coffee and I need a source to keep it warm for an extended period of time to where I come back to it.
Not necessarily more, sometimes less, but I need it warm for a longer period of time.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the amount, but how long I need the coffee to be warm. Whereas to me, a mug is a single serving.
Literally, I couldn't eat it.
Yeah, that's fine.
The last part to me is, we'll say, the shape of the mug. And so we have our straight up and down, we have skinny at the top, fat at the bottom, fat at the top, skinny at the bottom, or like more of like an hourglass. And I think we have most of these represented here. Is that a Ray Jennings? What's going on, Ray Jennings?
Mr. Ray Jennings.
He's been jamming so hard.
He's been-
This is he's a lot of friends.
Working way too hard.
Us too.
They don't pay me enough.
And drinking
to work
beer.
this hard, you know. Well, you got all three of them hooked up. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, we got 3.
Dang, we have a party now.
We are.
So, are you contributing to this?
Oh, yes.
More than any of us.
Yes.
They
She's
pulled
making
in the cuss
a
word
lot
from
of
you.
people angry.
Which is the job.
right, I did
Still
that
doing
well.
it right.
She's an instigator.
Was that?
Oh, you got plenty of beer?
Instigator?
Trying.
We haven't even gotten to the best part.
Square mugs.
Square mugs. Leave right now. Shape of coffee mugs.
All right. To me, it needs to be cylinder shape. I want.
We got that far.
I want tall. Well, no, because some of the things like this isn't cylinder. Cylinder is straight up and down. Like cylinder, it starts the V. I'm not trying to hate on that mug. I'm just saying
Cylindrical.
a cylinder. Yes, that's cylinder. This is cylinder, not cylinder.
So you're saying straight.
I'm saying straight up and down.
Okay.
Symmetrical. We've used that term earlier. A symmetrical core, and I prefer a skinnier core versus a wide berth because to me there's less heat dispersion. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the way I'm going to describe it.
So skinny straight.
I like skinny straight. I don't want a thick one. I don't want a wide one. I think it gets cooler quicker. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just the way I feel when I experience it. And it also allows for a better two-handed.
But if you're going with the 18 ounce like Ben, you're gonna need something
Yeah, that's fine.
fatter than this.
Well, I'm not.
You could get this, but just double it and go on top of it. Make
Right.
it super tall.
Right, because
He said
to me-
skinny.
So then it looks a little bit like.
So to
Yeah, he likes his coffee mugs like his body type.
yes, this is my.
I was gonna say, then it looks a little bit more like a tumbler.
Yes. If we could have a ceramic
Yes, I would live my life
with a handle.
So to me,
That's it.
They make those.
This is my ideal shape in terms of body, but I want it a little bit taller because this doesn't fit 4 fingers as well as that one. So like
He
if I
likes his
could,
mugs like his girls.
yes, I do. So if I could have this handle on this mug, which would therefore make this mug a little bit bigger to incorporate the handle, it would be my ideal mug.
Yeah. I'm going to have a maybe controversial opinion here. I'm not sure. But if I was thinking best, I'd want kind of more of like the soup bowl type, where it's like that gray one where it flares out towards the top. Not necessarily that handle, but just because that way, if I wanted to, I could actually two-hand it and sip it like that and enjoy it. Again, controversial.
Let the record show Ben took the mic just to say.
The other one would be like the one my mom has in front of her, where it's like slightly
Correct.
wider at the top. I think if I was picking one, I'd want more of the Super Bowl shape, but I wouldn't be mad of the slight wide taper at the top.
I don't like the curvature of the soup bowl tape.
I do.
Shape, but the smaller at the bottom, slightly wider at the top. Kind of.
So you're not a Gilmore Girls fan? That's fine.
My favorite mug is Luke's.
Same with my wife.
But if I had to choose, I like those the best. But I do not mind the ones that Rick and I assume Ben probably is talking about as the.
Well, Rick said tall and skinny and straight.
I like the straight. It doesn't need to be tall and skinny.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Shape. Give me shape.
Cylindrical.
Yep.
Even. I'm okay if there is a very, very slight size difference, whether it's on the top or the bottom, but it's got to be slight. Not like the one. Maybe. Yeah, so the one that Debbie's holding, it's slight enough, but like the gray one that Travis was talking about, it's too soup bowl-y. It's too
literally
much
like
of a change. Not to mention the fact that you're drinking.
It's okay.
By the time you get to the end of the coffee mug, you're at the smallest part of the mug, so there may not even be a full sip left. Like it's disappointing at the end.
Why is it disappointing?
So for whatever it's worth, just so you know, I personally use that one for hot chocolate.
Yeah, it's
This
a
one
quality
for
hot
coffee.
chocolate mug.
I'm okay with Debbie's favorite.
I would eat soup out of that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with Debbie's favorite winning. If there was one like that was symmetrical, I personally would pick it, but I definitely prefer that one over everything else. That lip, no. There's nothing.
It's symmetrical.
And
It
this
is
one,
symmetrical, but it's the lip and the handle that mess it up for me.
That's nasty.
That one's not bad.
I mean, that's not bad, but that's the same, basically the same as that one.
But it's a bigger one.
It's a little wider, and
more
that's what,
to his
and that's why I don't
liking.
like that one. Again, it's a little wider, a little thicker than that one. At least from across the table, I could be wrong.
Tall, skinny, wide, and thick.
That's what. Well,
if I just had to pick one. So I think you said slightly wide.
I like wide at the top.
My mom likes wide at the top. You guys are more cylindrical. I said I'm soup bowl, so I'm going to say not overly exaggerated wide at the top is the winner here.
I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at that.
Slight.
Yeah. I don't prefer it, but again,
Giant lip.
And at the end of the day, as long as it meets my other criteria, then it's acceptable to me.
All right, so I think what I've got here is best style of coffee mug is minimum of 3 fingers, no lip, ceramic, 12 to 16/18 ounces, no lid, and slightly wider at the top. Do we think that fits the description?
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Okay. I have to pee.
I also have to pee.
I do not have to pee.
You want to share?
Really smooth. That was a joke. Especially when maybe whenever you try Jason with all those pods.
That's a good one. That's a quality mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, why was that not brought up? Like that.
This is the perfect mug.
Hey, why was that not brought up?
What are we talking about? I literally watch that every day so I can drink out of it.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas. I wouldn't want it out
But I do have room.
If you guys remember, the last episode that Debbie was on, we did a gas station bar brawl, not bar brawl, but like, yeah, it was a gas station snack. Sorry, gas station snack racket. Which one was the best gas station snack? Rick had a lot of opinions on one of my favorite snacks, and Ben didn't believe that this existed. So I brought them all.
Was I drunk?
I brought them for all of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone gets a double-decker.
That was definitely not me who didn't think they existed because Somebody, but not me. But I'm very happy.
No. It's specifically the double decker one.
Yeah.
500 calories. That is.
Rick's not even gonna eat it.
God. No. That is a third of my daily.
That's like my wife's entire calorie intake for one day.
How about if I open it and you just take a little piece out of it?
I'm okay.
I'm gonna eat it on my way home.
Okay.
It'll be my
I just dug right in.
my eating.
I'll finish this in the next 5 seconds.
Good thing I did that 9-minute row earlier.
So hot.
You want to take a little piece of mine? You want to taste it?
I do.
No.
Are you sure?
Eric said
I mean,
that
I've had
he,
oatmeal
he
pie
grew up
before.
and lived
Right.
on the Eric.
This is yeah.
He tells Riley how he hid them under the bed.
Woohoo!
Oh, you did too. Lovely. I guess I didn't clean under the bed enough.
No, because it'd be gone the next morning.
You know, if I had eaten chips all night.
Nom.
All right, so this one's a little bit of a long one as well. Sorry again for the poor audio quality. We will finish this episode next week with our 10 punishments for social faux pas. Be sure to stay tuned for that episode. Again, new episodes every Wednesday. Follow us on the social media at @the_bar banter. New episodes every Wednesday. I already said that. And like and subscribe. And this is our podcast, and you're just along for the ride. Peace.